All right, we're going to turn now to yesterday's deadly shooting at a high school in Georgia. It happened in the morning at Apalachee High School, which is about 45 miles away from Atlanta. Police say a 14-year-old student, 14, killed 4 people and injured at least 9 others. It's believed he used what authorities say is a, quote, AR platform-style weapon. Students and teachers had to shelter in classrooms and were eventually evacuated to the football stadium. 2 students died in the gunfire, Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. 2 teachers were also killed, Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irimi. All of those injured are expected to survive. Police say 2 school resource officers found the suspect minutes after shots were fired. The suspect surrendered immediately and was taken into custody. He is now being charged as an adult with murder. Joining us now from Winder, Georgia, is NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar. Priya, what's the latest officials there are telling you?
Good morning. Yes, well, one of the most significant developments overnight that we discovered is that the suspect was actually known to law enforcement previously. The FBI was aware of him since May of last year when he was a 13-year-old student here. They even conducted interviews with his father, who said to them that he did keep hunting rifles inside of their home, but that the suspect, now 14-year-old Colt Gray, didn't have unsupervised access to those weapons. Now, here in Georgia, there is no minimum age requirement as far as who can have access to rifles or shotguns. But of course, in this scenario, we know that authorities are telling us that the weapon that was used was actually an AR-style weapon, as you mentioned. And we don't have any further information about exactly how 14-year-old Colt Gray got the weapon. There's also no indication about what his motive could be. We did ask authorities if he knew the victims in this shooting, and they said that they weren't sure if there was potentially a direct connection between the shooter and the victims. The school here will be closed for the rest of the week as authorities will be conducting interviews with the suspect, his family members, and of course eyewitnesses. They did mention that they already have been speaking to Colt Gray's family members, but they couldn't give us any further details or insight as to a motive. There was a vigil that was held here last night. Of course, the community is mourning. Governor Kemp also visited the school last night. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
This is everybody's worst nightmare. And I just want to offer my sincere condolences and our thoughts and prayers to the families that have lost loved ones, for those that are injured and continuing to fight through just a tragic time for really this whole community that's been affected by today's actions.
And of the remaining 9 gunshot victims, we do know that one of them is a teacher. The other 8 are students, and they are all expected to make a full recovery. Willie?
NBC's Priya Sridhar live for us in Winder, Georgia. Priya, thanks so much. Before we get back to the human tragedy that is this school shooting, another one, a couple of law enforcement points to make on your beat. Number one, these school resource officers inside the school, according to that timeline, engaged this kid really quickly and got him to drop his weapon and surrender before he could do any more damage and take any more lives. Also, some contact we heard from the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, last year with this young man when he was 13 years old about making some online threats. What happened there?
That's right, Willie. The FBI and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office put out a joint statement last night acknowledging that in May of last year, the FBI's National Threats Operations Center got a series of online tips, anonymous tips, that there were threats made on a gaming site about potentially someone carrying out a school shooting, and they traced those threats back to this individual, and the Jackson County Sheriff went and interviewed his father, and his father said that he had hunting rifles in the home, but that the child did not have unsupervised access, and they closed the case, and they found no probable cause to take further action. This is heartbreaking and infuriating because it's happened time and time again. Now, in fairness to law enforcement, there are a lot of people who make threats who never carry them out. They're inundated with threat information, and we don't see the ones that don't come to fruition. But time and time again, in these mass shootings, it turns out that the shooter had previous contact with law enforcement, and in many cases the FBI. I reported on a school shooting in New Mexico back in 2017, where the FBI actually sent agents to interview the shooter and the future shooter and his parents, did a threat assessment, decided he didn't pose a threat, left, took no further action, and a year later he shot two students at a school in New Mexico. In this case, you have to wonder, was the school even notified about a potential threat? There are things that can be done short of arresting a person. Was this individual, was this family referred to mental health services? Were local law enforcement, warned to be on the lookout to provide extra scrutiny? We don't know the answers to those questions, but too often in these cases, the answer has been no. And when you talk to experts about this, they say there's a real breakdown here. There's a real lack of coherent threat assessments in these cases because so often there's this what they call leakage. Before an event like this, the troubled individual who carries it out tells people about it, tells people about his or her ambitions to conduct a mass shooting, and often the authorities don't take the right action, and then tragedy ensues. Willie.
And the question, Mika, really is, between last year and this year, where did the AR weapon come from? The father claimed he had hunting rifles, and that was it, and that the son had no access to them. Well, the son had access to an AR style rifle, and the question is, where did that happen? Who did the father leave it in a position where his child, who had these issues before, had access to it? I mean, that's more and more. That's the question I think we're going to start seeing.
And there are now cases where parents are being tried,
right,
in a situation like this.
Yeah, and this is just yet the latest in school shootings.
What is it? Day one of school?
AR-15s or AR platformed weapons used to kill children. And just a reminder again that gun deaths are the #1 cause of deaths for children in America. And as we've said before, and as Kamala Harris said yesterday, this is a choice that Republican legislators make every single day to not pass meaningful gun safety laws.
Oh, but Joe, this is not the time to talk about that. That's what they always say.
Well, the problem is, they used to say that. The problem is they say, oh, you should wait a week. Well,
no.
There's so many mass shootings in America now.
It's an epidemic.
1,708 young people died in acts of gun violence last year. Again, the #1 cause of death for children in America. Why? Because it's a choice. Look at that. 2018, 336, 19, 417 children, 2020, 610 children. You keep going, 656 children in 23, 385 in 24.
NBC's Ken Dilanian, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We'll speak to you again soon, I'm sure. And still ahead on Morning Joe, the